Hi, my name is Mason Engel. I'm 20 years old and I was raised by two moms. Growing up with two moms, I really don't have anything else to compare it to, but I would assume it was just like any other childhood. My parents almost funneled themselves into traditional roles, with my non-biological mom being more of a masculine role model, being into sports and things like that, stereotypically masculine, and my mom was more of the stereotypically feminine caretaker. Even then, having two moms for my parents, it was probably very alike to a kid who was raised by heterosexual parents. If I were raised by heterosexual parents, I really don't see myself being much different. Maybe the only difference would be a less unique perspective on life and on things in general, just because it's the convention, it's the norm. Having two moms has opened me up to so many things, just being more receptive to not only like gender identification and culture, but just the world in general. And maybe if I didn't have two moms, I wouldn't feel that way about things. So I'm grateful that that's the way it turned out. As far as sexual orientation goes, some people have a kind of a weird concern that if you're raised by gay parents, homosexual parents, that in turn you'll inherit that trait. I feel completely the opposite. If you spend most of your time around people who deviate from social norms and who are practicing homosexuals, then why would they force you to conform to their beliefs? That's kind of like the paradox in my mind that exists. If I'm raised by rebels, they're not going to want me to conform. At least that's the way I feel. They never pressured me into anything. They were completely open to my choices about my sexuality, and I happen to be heterosexual, but if I were homosexual, then they wouldn't care either way. It'd be the same thing. So some people think that to be raised well, you need to be raised by one man and one woman. But those people, I think, need to understand what being raised well actually means. To be raised well is to be raised as like an honest, hardworking person. To use that argument that you can't be raised well by honest, hardworking people who happen to be gay is completely backwards to me. The characteristics of your person, your ethic, that comes straight from your parents. And if you're raised by bad people, you're probably going to be a bad person. There really isn't any sort of gender role or sexual orientation that plays into that. I'm grateful that I had two moms. So most people think that just because you're raised by gay parents that you are not social or you're not going to be involved, but that is completely the opposite for me. In high school, I played soccer. I was the captain of the soccer team. My senior year, I was involved in student government and National Honor Society. I was on homecoming court for several years in a row. I was a really social kid. I hung out with a lot of different people. And then when I came to Purdue, I decided to major in math and econ. Since high school, I've written 3 100,000 word fiction novels, and I made a website to help high school kids apply for financial aid. So just by nature of having gay parents, that hasn't limited my involvement or my socializing in the slightest. No one said shit my entire childhood. Like they were completely cool about it. All my friends, all of my parents' friends, everyone was 100% receptive to the idea of their sexual orientation. And being from Southern Indiana, that's kind of shocking to me, I guess. But that just goes to show how little of an effect their sexual orientation has, not only on me, but on our surroundings and on the people around us. Being raised like that wasn't a burden on me, and it wasn't a burden on anyone around me. It was just, yeah, that's Mason. He has two moms. That's all.